Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are Jamie and Aidan, and thank you for joining us for this video.
We are kind of excited to make this. It's one that we've always thought about making before, but never really had the chance to kind of write it down, get our thoughts together. So we're excited to put it all together, and hopefully it's going to help some people. Maybe you are a first-time backpacker or you have never been to Asia before. We are very lucky. We have been a couple of times now and spent a lot of time there. So we are very happy to share all of our kind of tips and everything that we wish we had have known before we visited.
In this video, we're going to be going over everything we wish we knew before we had travelled in Southeast Asia.
And hopefully some of these tips will stick with you. You'll kind of not make the same mistakes that we do.
Three, two, one. Completely submerged in the clouds.
Wow. Now, if you want to see any more travel vlogs, other mistakes to make, guides for different countries or cities, just check out any of our other videos. I'm sure that you will find them interesting. At least kind of one part will be a good tip for you if you are planning a trip or you are interested in travel. We would love to have you join us, be part of our little travel community. So if you do enjoy this video, remember to like and subscribe. So anyway, let's get into it.
Okay, the first point we're going to talk about in this video is you have to take into consideration the climate of Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
It is very, very hot in Asia, and that's something we kind of knew before going there, but never really expected it to be as hot as it really is.
Yeah, so we've done plenty of holidays when we were younger in Europe, and that is a little bit hotter than England to what we're used to. But Asia is a very different story. It's hot, the sun is out, it's a very strong high UV sun, so remembering SPF is very important. It's also humid, and this humidity is kind of what kills you. This is the worst part, definitely.
Definitely, it's so hard to breathe and you just get so hot and so sweaty, it's ridiculous.
Yep, there isn't really a need to worry because pretty much everywhere in Asia, if you are inside, will have air conditioning. There are a few kind of islands that we have been to which don't have it as much, but there's a fan and it can cool down a little bit at night. So it's not something to worry about, you will get used to it. Everyone will walk around if they're wearing a backpack or maybe like kind of thicker clothes than they should be. Everyone's going to be sweating. It's something that you just get used to, but we should have been prepared before.
Yes, definitely.
The jumpers and trousers that we packed with us, we just didn't need. So that is definitely something we wish we had have known. It's so humid, it's so hot. You must prepare by bringing the right clothes, remembering SPF, and then obviously drinking water. Definitely just keeping your fluids up. It's not something you have to worry about, maybe where you're from, but just remember when you go to Asia, all of those things.
It's very hot.
So we have arrived. The sun has come out, ready for us to be walking around. Oh my god, it is hot right now. Very, very hot.
So the next thing that we wish we had have known sooner, because at the start we were both a little bit nervous about it, is eating the street food. This is probably our best tip that we have.
Yes, personally, I was quite nervous before going to Asia. I wouldn't consider myself a fussy eater, but some of the food did worry me. But I quickly got over this and fell in love with all of the street food there.
Yep, it is so convenient. Most corners of all of these kind of cities or places that you're going to be in, most streets are going to have street food. And if you avoid it, if you only go to restaurants, one, you're going to be missing out on some amazing food. Some of the best meals we've ever had came off the side of the street.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's so convenient as well. You can just grab a quick drink, get a smoothie, get a fruit juice, get, I don't know, some grilled corn on the beach in Bali.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't beat street food. It's there. Everyone can pick something different. I loved the food courts in Luang Prabang, where it's just a big square and everyone can choose something different, you can try. That's an experience more so than just going to a restaurant that we're all used to. So no, you don't just have to eat street food, do both.
Yeah, the restaurants are also great as well. So the next point we want to talk about is how every country is completely different. This is maybe, again, something that we were just a bit naive about. We weren't really too educated on the differences between the countries.
Definitely, you kind of think of it as one. Southeast Asia, I'm thinking that Vietnam, Thailand, they're all going to be similar. And of course there are similarities, the same way that in Europe you can find many similar dishes and things that are popular. But there are so many differences as well, and you're not going to learn about them unless you go out of your way to. If you're backpacking, you can stay in hostels with other kind of people from close to where you're from, and you're not going to get that true experience. So definitely one thing we wish that people told us is try and talk to the locals as much as possible. Go to like the museums.
Yes, absolutely. We recommend that. We always go to the museums in all of the big capitals and we love it.
Just try and learn some history, try and learn about some culture, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it.
Another thing that we never realised before going to Asia is the level of English between all of the locals in all of these countries is fantastic.
Very high.
Everyone can speak perfect English. It's crazy, and it's just not something we expected. We expected that we would have to use Google Translate a lot, and which we did at certain points, especially in the more rural places. But for the most part, everyone can speak English, so that is very helpful.
Yeah, and it's a bit lazy from us, obviously, being able to go to a different country and everyone speaks our language. But we do try and obviously learn a few phrases. That's definitely another tip. So there you go, is a bonus one. Learn a few phrases, definitely. Hello, thank you,
like that, yeah.
Tasty food, anything like this that you're going to use a lot. But you don't have to worry too much if you're booking accommodation or trying to order. Usually people speak very good English. It's not something to worry about. Don't worry, oh, I'm not going to have internet, I won't be able to talk to anyone. You can at least get by. And sometimes we've had conversations with people where we're speaking English, they're speaking a different language, and it still works.
Yeah. I can't speak Vietnamese. You can't speak English, but that's okay.
We speak English, so...
Đi chơi xong hôm nào mà về đây thì lại vào đây nhá, để tôi nhớ cái máy.
It's not something to worry about, and we definitely thought it was before we left, so maybe you will as well.
So another point that we have, which is a personal favourite of mine, we recommend highly that you rent and ride a motorbike.
Definitely, it's the easiest way, the fastest way to get around, the cheapest usually, and it's something that we never realised before.
No, I had never ridden a motorbike, never even sat on a motorbike before going to Asia the first time, and at this point now I must have done thousands of miles, so it's so easy to pick up, and yeah, like we said, it's so much fun. For me personally, driving through the mountains, especially in northern Vietnam and in northern Thailand, it's absolutely amazing just driving through the mountains on a motorbike.
An experience in itself.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that you're going to have to get used to. It is in most of the countries, especially Vietnam, the main mode of transport.
Yes.
Some people that we've met really don't agree with motorbikes, they don't want to go on it, and obviously that's fine. But for us, it's the most convenient way. We can both jump on one.
So that saves a lot when paying for taxis or public transport or anything like that.
Definitely. Just, if you want to, ride a motorbike. You might really love it, but obviously be careful. This we can't really stress enough. You do need to be careful.
Yes.
The roads are a little bit crazy. Different kind of rules to what you might be used to in your own country. So if you are going to ride a motorbike, just take caution. The next one is a little bit of a quick add-on, just touching down on that kind of safety and looking after yourself. We did know this before, but we've met a lot of people that didn't know it before they started traveling or were midway through their travels and hadn't sorted it yet, and it is insurance. It's a boring one, it can be a little bit expensive if you think, I don't want to pay, I'm never going to use it, that's just an extra expense to pay for. Well, don't think that. That is a mistake. You need insurance. It is a very, very important part of your traveling. Think of your passport, your phone, and your insurance. They're like the only ways you're going to look after yourself while you're in a completely different country on the other side of the world.
The worst thing that can happen is you get in an accident and you have to go to the hospital and you do not have any insurance to cover any of the medical bills, and you get a big
bill at the end. We've seen it happen, unfortunately, to enough people for it to really kind of hone in the point that you need insurance. We recommend Safety Wing because you can pay for it, you can start it at any point, it's a rolling subscription and you can cancel at any point. So if you don't know how long you're traveling for, or you just want to be insured, you're going to many different countries, then Safety Wing is the best one personally for us to recommend to you. It's great for digital nomads, or if you're thinking of maybe settling down in a country outside of your home country, and there's so much more. You're covered for so many different things. If you want to check any more information about it, we've written about it. It's all on our blog, which will be linked below, and the link for Safety Wing, it will all be below. So just check out our description. All of the information that we're going through here will be there too.
One of the most useful things that we recommend everybody does before going to Asia is, when you are still in your home country, installing the Grab app. It is basically Uber and it works all over Asia. You can get food delivered from it, you can order a taxi from it, it's everything. And it's so much cheaper than going to a travel agency and booking a taxi through them and stuff like this.
A lot cheaper when you turn up at your first country. You don't want to turn up in Bangkok airport and suddenly get harassed by the taxi drivers that are out the front and scammed and pay about $30 or $40 for a taxi that should only cost about $50. So download Grab, set it all up, do all the verifications before, definitely, that's a great point, before. And then you will be ready, you will be able to order it using the free Wi-Fi in the airport, and that's definitely the best way to not get overwhelmed and to have a kind of smooth transition into Southeast Asia, rather than straight off the plane, straight to harassment, straight to scams. It's not what we want to hear. Download Grab, it is the #1 app for Asia. Another thing that we never knew before visiting Asia, but after a while we kind of worked out what the trick was. When you go to a hostel or to a travel agency and book a tour, an activity, a boat, a bus, anything, transport, then they will charge you a little bit more than if you just booked it yourself. Obviously, some people just don't want the hassle, they don't want to look online, and that's okay, you can go, it's fine, go to a travel agency, they will book things for you. But a few times we've actually gone to them, booked something through them, and all they really do is go online, book the same thing that you could have just done yourself, but they're going to add on their own rate. So if you do want to save money, travel agencies and sometimes hostels, they will charge you an extra to have done the work for you.
So we actually spoke about this quite extensively in our last video, which was the mistakes we made in our year of traveling in Asia. So if you want more information about this, check out that video.
Yep, a nice shout out to that video, but there is a lot of information in it. We don't want to overwhelm you by talking. We end up doing it anyway. So just check that one out if you want any more information on how to get the cheapest tours.
One of my favourite things about Southeast Asia, and something I didn't know, are simply the amount of convenience stores that they have everywhere.
We have secured all of the goods. We are going to sit down. See you in a second.
I think it's a lot more similar to what you would maybe have in America compared to England. We don't really have too many 24-hour shops here in England, but in Asia, all over Asia, you have the American brands, you have 7-Elevens, you have Circle K's, All of these small convenience stores on every other street.
Yeah,
so
there's family marts, or in
there's
Indonesia,
so many of
Indomarts.
them.
Everywhere you go, probably not even 100 meters
No.
from each other.
Which is especially great how you can't drink the tap water in most countries, so you have to rely on bottled water. So if it becomes 2 o'clock in the morning and you're really thirsty, it's not that much of a problem. You can just walk for less than 2 minutes and you will find a 7-Eleven somewhere and you
Yeah.
can buy some food or some drinks.
Yep, very, very convenient. We love it. In some of them, they even have kind of fresh food that you can get. There's obviously sandwiches, which is really easy to grab something on the go. I love it so much. You like them?
I wish we had them here in England as well. It's
Definitely.
something I would bring from Asia to England.
So, some people might be used to this. We, as country folk, were not. We are from quite small towns in the centre of England, kind of near to London, but we definitely don't live in cities back in our homes. So going to Asia, being in these actually massive cities, if you think about Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, or maybe even Singapore, where the whole country is a city, that was something that we were not prepared for the busyness, the
City
bustling
life.
energy, yeah, city life.
So this is definitely something you may have to prepare for. It will be noisy at night, especially because there are so many bikes in Asia. There's lots of beeping, lots of
A
bikes,
lot of noise.
noise.
So if you are not a city person, then bear in mind most of kind of the big stops, places that tourists and backpackers are going to go to, are going to be cities. Not all the time, obviously, but a lot of them. So if you really don't like them, obviously try them out in Asia. They're very different, but kind of change your route a little bit to try and avoid them if this is not something that you're into. For us, we love them. It was something we didn't know before about these amazing, massive cities. And it does sound a bit naive, but we just never thought like that. But once we experienced them, we fell in love with the Southeast Asia cities.
So the next point we have is that you can buy absolutely everything in Asia. We were worried before the first time we went that we wouldn't have the right stuff and then we would not be able to buy anything, but you could almost go to Asia with nothing and buy it all there cheaper
Probably
than
for
you
cheaper.
would in your own country. We had no problem buying even niche things that we buy in England. You can buy there.
Yep, don't worry about it. There are a couple things which don't apply, which obviously imported things, if you are looking for very specific, maybe English or Australian or American kind of snacks, you can find them, but they're going to be more expensive, very expensive. There is a lot of import kind of tax on them, so you're going to pay about $5 for a specific brand of cookies that you love from home. So maybe just skip that if you're watching the pennies. A few more things that are a little bit more expensive is SPF. This usually happens when you are on an island because obviously everyone's going to be buying it. The small stores know this, they put the price up a little bit and it's expensive for them to import it. So bring as much SPF as you can. Everything else, don't worry, you'll be able to get it. Something that we wish we knew before we came to Asia, because it was a mistake that we made a couple times, falling into this kind of routine of wanting to do as much as possible, seeing every single site from every single city in every single country, and you can't keep up with that. You have to relax. That's what we wish we knew, to just relax. Yes, we're in these amazing countries, and yes, we do want to see as much as we can, but you don't need to get stressed out.
No.
There's no point. Just relax. You're in Asia, what could go wrong?
If you want to just hang out at the hostel with the people that you have met there because they're really cool and you like them a lot, don't feel guilty about that.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
And again, we say it a lot in these type of information videos. There are so many of them out on the internet. You could end up kind of, before going, preparing yourself so much that you're actually overplanned and then stressed out about it. It's just not worth it. We're giving these all to you because we wish that we had have known them, and one of them is, don't get so stressed out by all the information, by trying to fit everything in. Just relax, go with the flow.
So one thing you will pick up on very quickly after you arrive in Asia the buses are never on time.
Not once.
You will be getting lots of buses either from one city to another in the country or from one country to another country. There's a very small chance that the bus will be on time. That's just the way it is, unfortunately, and you'll get used to that quite quickly. At the start, when we first started doing these long buses, we would be worried that they weren't here on time, and we would be asking the locals working there, how long until the bus comes, and they're just
panicking.
kind of looking at us like,
shrug,
go away. But
you worry, is it going to come? Did we book it from the right place? Oh, the bus has forgotten about us. No, it will come eventually. That's why our last point was so important. Just go with the flow. Don't book in anything after a long journey because there's going to be traffic and it's probably going to be late. That's okay. Just relax. We are on our last point. Thankfully, we have got there. We don't want this to be too long. Thank you if you have watched all the way through, and if you have found any of these tips helpful, then please just give us a like. It really supports us. Otherwise, our last one is, Aidan?
You must check your visas regularly. So we did actually speak about this in our last video as well, but this is such an important point that we want to elaborate on this again.
Definitely.
The visas change so often in these countries, it's almost difficult to keep up with.
With no warning. There's no kind of bulletin put out. There's nothing to know unless you're kind of speaking to people about it. They might have outdated information. So the best thing you can do is check your official government website.
Yeah, so for us, that is our UK government website. We regularly check it. It tells you the visa requirements, all of the entry requirements actually, and it's updated as soon as they hear from the countries themselves.
Yep.
So check that regularly.
Definitely. So before you even book a flight to the country, if you're planning to go to Vietnam, go on to Vietnam entry requirements, UK, or add in whatever country you're from. Check what you need. There might be COVID things. Not so much anymore in Southeast Asia, which is lucky, but you never know when they might bring things back in. You might need to have a certain date on your passport. You might need to bring a passport photo with you. You might need money to buy the visa. You might need to apply for an online visa. These are all things that you need to know before you turn up to Vietnam. Basically, keep checking. If you're planning on going to Thailand next month, check it, book the flights, and check again. Definitely. This, we can't say enough. It's one of those things, if you get it wrong, it could ruin your trip. So please remember this. We wish we knew it because a few times we risked it. We were obviously fine, but we do know some people that were not.
Yes, you will literally be refused entry into the country, and nobody wants that. So
nobody wants that. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. We have actually given you pretty much everything we wish we knew before we headed over to Southeast Asia. If you are about to start a backpacking trip or to travel in any of these countries, then we are very jealous. We are back at home in the UK now. That doesn't mean that we're not making any more videos. We are actually planning for our next trip. So if you'd like to see what we get up to, hit subscribe.
So we hope you enjoy the tips. We hope they're useful to you. If you have any questions, please give us a comment. And
yeah,
we'll
we like
everything.
replying to them. If we can help, we will, or we'll give you a link to something that can help.
So that's pretty much everything from us now. So thank you very much for watching the video, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.